Hey, and welcome to 2021. I've had a bit of a break for the holidays, but today I'm back and I want to talk to you guys about packable jackets for backpacking. Hey guys, and thanks for tuning in today. I want to talk about two jackets, really in particular, two types of jackets. And that is, the first one I'm wearing is the Patagonia Micro Puff. And this jacket is new to me as I received it as a Christmas gift from my wife. So thumbs up for her for doing that for Christmas. I also want to tell you guys that all of the jackets I talk about today are 2XL in size, 2XL. So they are going to be a little bit on the heavier side over what the factory says they weigh because of the larger size, because I'm a bigger guy and I like to have some room in my coats. With that being said, let me show you the other jacket I want to talk about. So the jacket I have on now is actually the Jerry down jacket. Now this jacket is available for purchase at Costco, and that's where I picked it up. And I believe the retail price on it was $49.99. This jacket, as I said earlier, is also a 2XL. But the primary differences between this jacket and the Patagonia coat are that this jacket is down. The Patagonia coat is polyester insulation. So, and the other major difference between the two of them is you'll notice this jacket does not have a hood. That's not to say there's not a Jerry down jacket available from Costco with a hood, because according to their website they do have one. Obviously that's going to add some weight to the coat, but at the time this one in particular with just the collar on it was what was available, so it's what I purchased. And just to add a little bit more fun, I had a second Patagonia Micro Puff hoodie, which I'll explain. There was a mix-up how I ended up with two of them, but this is the same jacket as the blue one I had on earlier, only it is in gray. Like I said, both those Patagonia Micro Puff jackets are hooded. They're the hooded version. You can get a non-hooded version. I prefer the hooded version, especially since I started out with the Jerry coat that did not have a hood. And there's a couple of reasons for that, but I will show you. I've got a hoodie on under it, so you'll have to excuse me. But if you pull the hoods up on these Patagonia coats, they give you a liberal amount of coat to zip up. You can see it doesn't leave much of my head out in the cold. So that is a huge deal for me on the design of these coats, because there's pretty tight here around my face. So when you're dealing with wind, you're dealing with snow, any kind of adverse weather, this is really going to keep your ears and your head warm, which in the cold weather is where you're going to lose a lot of body warmth. It's going to go out the top of your head. So this particular design, you can even get it, I could get it up over my mouth, you know, I don't know if you can hear me there, but yeah, that is a lot of coat to work with. All right, we're back in the blue coat. I don't know why I keep switching them. It's just fun, and I think it's I just want you guys to see what they all look like. I'm really kind of partial to the blue one. It's just a cool color, and it's my favorite, I think. I wanted to talk about some of the claim specifications and then what I found out when I went over them, which is interesting. Having two of the Micro Puffs, I actually compared them to see if there were any differences, and interestingly enough, there were. So Patagonia says this coat should be 9.3 ounces. Now, I'm assuming that's based off either the large or the medium size. These 2XL size Patagonia hooded Micro Puff jackets are, my blue one here came in right just a hair under 11 ounces. And interestingly enough, the black one, or I'm sorry, the gray one, the Jerry coat's black. So this one, the gray Patagonia jacket, came in at 11.6 ounces, and I did weigh them multiple times. Now that is me using basically a digital countertop scale, so that doesn't mean it's the most accurate weight in the world. But like I said, I did multiple measurements using this coat and the blue one The gray coat came in at 11.6. The blue one came in at 0.6 ounces lighter. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And I don't know if there's a reason for that, or if there is just enough of a leeway in the manufacturing at Patagonia where, you know, they need to be within a certain parameter, and that's how they send them out. Now, the Jerry coat I weighed in, it came in on my scale at 14.3 ounces. And actually, let me check that. 14.3 ounces. So that's not bad, considering that this coat is only $50 from Costco. And according to the manufacturer's label, like I said before, this coat is down. 90% down in the body, 10% of other material, whatever that means. And then the collar here on the neck, which you can see this area, is made of, has polyester insulation in it, so it is not down. Whereas the Patagonia coats are insulated with what they call a pluma fill material. Now, when it comes to the shells and the bodies, I could not find a lot of information on the Jerry coat. It's listed on Amazon, it is listed on Costco, and a few other big box type stores online, and I found it anywhere between $49 all the way up to $99 for the coat. And another difference I wanted to point out too is there are a few more pockets on the Jerry coat than the Patagonia. The Patagonia is going to have the pockets on the outside, and then it's also going to have 2 additional pockets on the inside of the coat. So the Jerry coat has just a little bit more storage, as it has a chest pocket right about where the label is on the Patagonia coat. Now, Patagonia did have a fair amount of specifications. I know that the shell on this jacket is a tendonier nylon, and they call it their Pertex Quantum. So I couldn't find a description on what the difference was between that and a regular tendonier nylon, but that is what the factory specs are on that coat. They also claim it to be water resistant. I would definitely not say it's waterproof. The Jerry coat is not water resistant or waterproof, so I actually waterproofed that jacket myself with some silicone spray, which is not foolproof, but the Patagonia jacket is definitely going to be the more water resistant jacket of the two of them out of the box. Now the other question is, what do you get? What does $49.99 to $299.99 get you? What is that additional $250 getting you in the Patagonia coat? Well, I will tell you, the construction on both coats is not bad, but the construction on the Patagonia is most obviously superior to the construction on the Jerry coat. That's one thing. Another important thing I always like to throw in, and the reason that I like Patagonia products, is because they are fixable for life. If you damage this coat, if you tear something up on it, you can send it back to Patagonia and they will fix it and send it back to you for as long as you own the garment. The other thing with Patagonia is, if you decide that you want to go a different route, they do have a trade-in program now, and I believe that's called the Worn Wear program on their website. I didn't really dive really deep into that, but so the customer support you're going to get from Patagonia is pretty much bar none, as you're not going to get any customer support out of a $50 coat, nor really would you expect to. Now the next question that I want to cover is, which one is warmer? Interestingly enough, in the bodies and the sleeves of these coats, and I got the Jerry coat on right now, I cannot tell a difference on which ones. They're both warm. I've been warm in both jackets. This jacket I took on the Appalachian Trail for 40 miles on my last section hike, and it did absolutely fine. The only complaint that I had about this coat, which is why I wanted to move to something that was polyester filled rather than the down, is this coat will absorb sweat. So when I got sweaty in this coat in the morning, and I didn't take it off quick enough while I was backpacking in it, it did soak up a fair amount of sweat, and I had to dry it out later that day. So there's a couple of the reasons I'm going to throw in why I'm going to the Patagonia coat. But this coat, as far as the body and the sleeves, I can't tell a difference between this coat to the Patagonia coat. They are both equally as warm for what they are. Now, with that being said, I do want you to understand, I think the Patagonia coat is warmer for one major reason. Like I said, I got another hoodie on, so it makes it a little awkward. But this right here makes all the difference in the world for me. I know it's not for everybody. I know guys that prefer not to have the hood, but for me, it is an absolute necessity. My ears get cold pretty quick. My head gets old pretty quick because I keep my hair pretty short. So this makes all the difference. And the fact that I can zip this coat up so much and I have so much real estate as far as the insulated part of the coat to cover my face is a game changer for me. That's why I went with this coat. The polyester fill that will not absorb my sweat is why I went with this coat. And the fact that they will repair this coat for life is why I went with this coat. Now, with that being said, I've put a fair amount of time into backpacking. If you are just starting out and you're on a tight budget and you cannot afford a coat that regularly retails for $300, then the Jerry coat will get you by just fine. In a backpacking layering system, it performs just as well as the Patagonia coat minus the water absorption, which I covered earlier. But if it's within your budget, the Patagonia coat, bar none, is going to be a better option. It's going to be 5+ ounces lighter. It's not going to absorb sweat and water. It's repairable for life, so there's a huge amount of pluses to the Patagonia jacket. For me, looking at it from a long-term standpoint, that was why I went this direction. And I just think Patagonia as a company is not only environmentally responsible, that's a mouthful, but they're still a hiking company, where some of the other outdoor companies are more boutique companies now. Patagonia still serves the backpackers. And so it was an easy decision for me. I'm just lucky that I got 2 instead of 1, which happened because of some shipping errors through the Postal Service before Christmas. And so backcountry.com actually sent out a second coat to ensure that I got one and let us keep the first coat. So I got 2, and on that note, I cannot tell you that I've gotten better service from anybody but Backcountry. They've been a great company to work with. So if you're in the market for some new gear, check out backcountry.com, because they really have been a great place for me, and I'm sure they could be a great place for you too. The other thing I did want to cover on this jacket is, if you watch on backcountry.com, you watch on Patagonia's website, and I'm sure there's some other outdoor suppliers that you could watch. These coats do go on sale from time to time. I know Backcountry recently had this exact coat at $165. So if it is the coat that you want and you can wait for a little bit, those sales will roll around. So you can always do that, shop around, do some price comparison. But I hope that answers all your questions. I hope I was able to cover everything on these coats. And there you have it, $49 to $300. What are the differences? If you like this video, I'd really appreciate it if you guys, hit that thumbs up button. It does do some help for me to get my videos out on YouTube. And if you want to see more videos like this, I'm really going to try to hit it hard in 21. So please subscribe and stick around. And until next time, remember to hike your own hike.